Welcome to the Gilded Pod, where today we're talking the Gilded Age, Season 3, Episode 3, Love is Never Easy. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, a woman that I say all the time he's going to get more sun, is Marissa Garza. Marissa, you're rich.
I'm rich. I'm rich in opportunities to go outside and have the sun or go get the sun. What about you, Jason? You rich?
I'm rich. I'm so rich. Yes, we are here. Gilded Age season 3, episode 3.
Yeah.
Things are moving in directions. I think the thing with the Gilded Age is things move rather slowly, but when they move. Much like any relationship in this show, when they move fast. So yeah, here we are. Episode 3. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the episode, I want to remind you some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, and subscribing wherever it is. You can do any of those things. We have not yet gotten a official review for official Apple review for this podcast yet, so we would love it if you guys would go do that for us, just so we can hear some feedback on how you're liking the show and and whatnot. So we would really appreciate that. You can also email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. As always, thank you for rating, reviewing, and subscribing. And we do actually have a new way you can support us. We now have a Buy Me a Coffee page over at buymeacoffee.com/goodpod. You can go there and contribute anything you like. You can do it once. You can do it on a monthly basis. Whatever you want to contribute, we would greatly appreciate anything that you could contribute to us. We do this for free. We do this for the love of our hearts. So we would love if you would support us in that
and
way.
We promise not forget your name in the thank yous. Like, we will make sure that your name is there because we don't want you to get mad like Agnes. And also, we really appreciate it, but also don't worry, we'll take care of you.
Yeah, and whenever we throw a ball, a charity, a portrait unveiling, you will be there. You will get the invitation with your name on it for sure. Don't worry about it. So, Marissa, let's get into the episode and see what's going on with all these different storylines, all these families. One thing the Gilded Age does not lack is storylines. This episode itself was 58 minutes. It's like, this is a lot of story packed into these episodes. And, you would think usually an hour show, you get like 42 minutes because they to add in for commercials. Even though this is HBO Max, they don't really need them.
No, but there's places.
58 minutes.
Yeah.
58 minutes. Chock full of stories. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And also full of topics. Like, there's a lot of things to talk about in this one outside of the plot. And they're not like historical, they're societal changes. So at the beginning of this episode, let's start with the Russell family. I think it's still weird that the Duke's name is Hector because my dad's name is Hector. And so this will always be weird for me because this man does not look like a Hector to me in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But last episode, Hector had arrived with his lawyer, and so we see George and Hector kind of negotiating this out, and it is not enough for Hector. I think like he had the impression that he could just kind of come in and name his price and that would be it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Bertha really hyped this thing up to him. It was like, hey, like you're gonna come in here, you're gonna get a crap ton of money, if crap ton was a word they used back then. It's of course the word we use now. But Hector's coming in here like, oh yeah, I'm about to rob the bank, baby, about to get it all. And George is like, you're not gonna rob the bank, you're gonna get a substantial amount from the bank, but you're not gonna get everything. George, let's not forget, has a railroad deal he's working on, so he can't give like everything. But the way George is talking is like, I can't give you everything, but I'm giving you most. I'm giving you a lot.
Because what Hector's looking for, the Duke, he's looking for like enough money to like revive his family homes, like not just like keep them alive, but like to revive them and redo them. And George is like, look, you've had these homes for so many years without me and you got by just fine. I will give you enough money to do that. But if you want anything else, I'm not going to give it to you. And this whole conversation is happening in George's office, and everyone else, including Marion, awkward, is sitting outside kind of like listening for this to happen. Apparently Bertha does embroidery. I think this is the first time I saw her like do some sort of home craft, but she's sitting out there. It does not go well. The lawyer kind of has to break up this whole conversation and says like, why don't we pause and go for tomorrow? And they head up right upstairs, and Bertha is hot on their trail. But before they leave, the Duke tries to like, I don't know, guilt or shame George into wanting to have this go forward because he's like, I'm sure you'd be sad if this unit didn't happen. He's like, funny thing, not at all, dude. I couldn't care less.
George is like, ain't no skin off my nose if this
Yeah.
doesn't happen. I don't give a crap. Like, I actually kind of don't want it to happen. So all the leverage is on my side. It's on George's side, really. He's like, I don't care if this doesn't happen. I'm kind of doing this against my will, to be honest with you. So go ahead and say no. I'm happy that I can just say it's in your hands and this is your decision. Bertha's not really gonna look at it that way, but he's like, I'm happy to make the offer and you say no, and we can all just go about our merry ways. George is no one to back down from anyone or capitulate to anyone and be like, oh, please. Even if this was the deal of a lifetime for George, even if George wanted this so bad, George is not going to bow down to anyone. So he's just like, bro, you can take it or you can kick rocks. It's up to you. So make your choice.
Yeah. Back in the sitting room, Gladys has gone upstairs. Well, before she does, it's like, there's no reason for anyone to marry me because I have no money. So it would only have to be for love. And Larry's like, ooh, love.
Oh, yeah. I do like any situation we get into on any of these shows or movies. We're talking about dowries to me is so interesting because it's like, how much is my daughter worth?
It's horrible.
Like, bro. Yeah, I was like, bro, she is not worth that much money.
Well,
like, get real. She is okay at best. She is not worth $2 million. You're gonna take this $500,000 that she's worth, and you're gonna be happy. Okay, I'm not paying $2 million for her.
Okay, maybe there should be no money exchange though. Like maybe the whole concept of dowries.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so weird. You're like,
bad.
how much is my daughter worth
in
monetary value?
Yeah, it's just, that's why like the whole institution of marriage. Like when I say in this episode, there's things to talk about. Like the institution of marriage is really at the forefront of this entire season because we've got this going on with Gladys. It's making Bertha and George talk about their own marriage. And then we've got whatever's going on with Larry and Marion. And for women, marriage was a societal step up depending on who they married. But at the same time, for men, they were the original gold diggers. You know, it wasn't women. They were making sure that women were rejected if they didn't have a good enough dowry. And it's just like connect these two families that have to be paid to take care of my daughter. And then don't even get me started. Women are worth all of this money, but then we're not going to like protect their rights and protect the fact that they can have, this is like equating them to like property, and not to the same extent as slavery did in any way, shape, or form, but it's like a transaction that is not good.
Yeah, and it's funny how in other cultures the dowry works the other way around. Like the groom's family is paying the bride's family for the privilege of marrying your daughter. This one, it's like, I will give you this amount of money to take her off my hands, put them in your. She's your problem now, and I'll pay you to take her off my hands. It's like, what's going on here? A show that I watch a lot is 90 Day Fiance, and that in that show, even in present day, they're still dealing with dowries and everything, and how much to pay dowries, and it's usually the groom's family having to pay the bride's family to get the honor of marrying her or whatever. So it's a really interesting topic to think about of like what is value here, what is worth, and to put a value on a human being's life is so bizarre.
Well, and then it's like, how can you have, I mean, what does it say about marriage when there's transaction and capitalism involved in it? You know what I mean? Like, what does it, what are you really doing? Is it love? Is it not love? There's a lot to be said about the institution of marriage and how it was put together and how it was used by men and women throughout history. And I always think it's just like really interesting because growing up, it's like, one day my prince will come and he will save me and then I will have a happy life. And that's just how it's supposed to be. But there's all this like other stuff.
It's like, if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So Bertha and George have a little debrief about this. And Bertha is just like, are you sure there's no way? And George is like, what the hell did you tell this man? She's like, I didn't say anything. I just said that he would be very happy, but you got to be able to find a way out of this. He's like, I am done. Like, I am not going any further in any way, shape, or form. I have a feeling that we have seen it in this episode. It had potential for rift and it had potential for, I still think this is really going to like have something happen between the two of them, because George throughout this entire episode is like not in on this at all.
It's not having it.
Yeah.
You can see his fuse getting shorter and shorter as the episode goes on. He's like, listen, I don't want this in the first place. I'm going along with this. I am offering a monetary amount. So I'm still going along with this, but I can only be pushed so far in this negotiation because I don't really want it. So it's not as if someone's offering me mine land, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like I want in this railroad deal where I'm willing to push all my chips out on the table for this mine deal. I'm not doing it here because I don't care about it. I don't even want this. So like, what is even the point?
Yeah, exactly. During this also, when they were alone, Larry goes and closes the door and has what I put in my notes as sneaky Larry smooches because he's taken.
Also give it real creep vibes as well. It's like Mary's like, I think you should take me home now. He's like, oh, not so fast. Larry is such a horn dog. This guy is trying to get in wherever he can get in. He's like, let's close this door, get some smooches in, girl. I was like, oh my gosh, Larry, you're such a dog.
Well, and I do want to note, like, Marion is not saying no. Like, she is also participating in this. No. But it is a little creepy with the door closing and everything. And then Bertha's maid finds them smooch-a-doochin', and this freaks Marion out. Freaks her out. She runs right home, goes to talk to Ada. She's like, oh, should we go cock kissing? And it was a kiss. And if he loves you, is it really that wrong? And she's like, yeah, but what about those rumors about that lady in Newport? And Ada has to say, young men get more license than young women. So just keep that in mind as it's going on. But I don't know. Do you think like Marion is not in love with him or is just she's overdoing it in the protection department?
I think she's definitely overdoing it in the protection department. I think she is scared to death of Bertha, rightly so. And I think that there are some characters in our story here that are more leaning to the 21st century than others. I do think Mary's kind of like, she hasn't really said it out loud. It's like, I don't really even know Larry. Like, we've spent like some time together, but it kind of goes against the convention of this time where people are so fast. Like, I love you. Let's get married. Like now. Like, it's like, oh, okay.
We were alone in a room together. We must get married.
Yeah. Marion is a anomaly in this time to be just like, oh, let's kind of like take it slow. Let's slow down. Let's get to know each other. Larry's like, nah, I'm surprised Larry hasn't proposed yet. So I do think that's what he has on his mind. Marion, we've talked about it before, is just being ultra cautious due to her past. So that's one interesting thing. Do you think Bertha even clocks that Marion is like in the room, or is Bertha just so tunnel vision on Gladys and the Duke? She doesn't even notice Marion is there, because once the maid snitches on Larry and she's like, wait, what? Like, when did that happen? Yeah. Because Bertha never acknowledges Marion when they're in the room together. I don't even think she knows she's there.
Yeah, and I think Marion is aware of that. Like, she's, don't worry about it. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. Your mom doesn't even know I'm here. Like, you think...
Yeah, like, we are so under the radar right now because Bertha has, like, many other things to do. So, as soon as this Gladys Duke thing resolves itself, the eyes are going to be now turned on Marion. So, Marion's just probably like, let's make this Duke thing last as long as we can, because I do not want eyes to follow me now.
Yeah. The next morning, negotiations resume, and George is like, okay, I'll give you the money you're asking, but the difference between what I first offered and the money that you're asking goes to Gladys as in allowance. And Hector is like, her money to Gladys? What?
The Duke is not happy. The Duke is like, wait. So you saying that's not my money? That's her money? So what is even the point? Like, why would I care about her getting money? I need the money. So why would I do this? Like, wow, bro. Like, just say the quiet part out loud. Like, all I care about here is money and what I get. So what are you even talking about? George's like, oh, okay. Like, the mask kind of slips even more of the Duke. Be like, okay, I see you. So you don't care about her at all. You're just looking for the money.
Yeah, I mean, because when the Duke says that, he's like, disappointing answer, if I were to say so myself. So, like, George really loves Gladys. Like, he's definitely a girl dad in this situation. And at all of this, there's like the world's most awkward breakfast that has happened so far at the Russell household. Bertha, Gladys, and Larry are all sitting down at the table. George walks in, doesn't want to say anything. It's like, I made my offer. That's it. Hector walks in, is like, I'm leaving. I got nothing else to do here. And Bertha's like, but wait, what about the portrait? What about all the other stuff? And Hector leaves, and then George says, I wash my hands of it. And Gladys is like, I take my coffee upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, Gladys, like, Bertha is annoyed, pissed. George breathes kind of a sigh of relief because in his mind, it's not really his fault. It's like, I made an offer and it wasn't accepted, so I feel like everybody's kind of off the hook now.
Yeah.
Like, he tells Gladys, Gladys, like, does this mean it's over? He's like, yeah, pretty sure it means it's over. Now, George, why are you talking
silly George.
so fast? Like, let the man get to England before he starts saying that things are over and done with. Because George should know Bertha at this point, that Bertha will not take no for an answer. There's one more play left in Bertha's in her hand. So like, don't just go saying things are over before they're over. Don't leave Gladys false hope, which is exactly what he did here.
Agreed. If it's a weeknight in the late 1800s and in New York, you're going to the opera. So they're going to the opera. This is where the maid tells Bertha, and you can tell, like, Bertha's like, boys will be boys. Like, this is nothing serious. And she's like, dude, they were like really kissing. Like, it was a little salacious there. And so I don't think Bertha, like, not only does Bertha not see Marion when she's in the room, but she doesn't even, like, she's not even on the game board for Larry,
Yeah.
Not even an option. Not even an option.
Yeah. She's like, wait, who? Marion? Who is that again? It's like, she's been in your house the last, like, 5 days. How could you not realize that Larry is trying to court Marion? It's like, oh, I thought they were just, like, friends or something. It's like, no, girl, you just been too tunnel vision to realize what's going on with Larry and Marion. And now with things happening this episode, I think she's going to start like turning her head like a little bit, be like, wait a minute, what's been going on over here?
During all of this, she gets a letter from George who's like, I'm out for the night. And this is like not good for Bertha. She's, I see how it is. So they go to the opera, and Mrs. Fish is being Mrs. Fish. She's getting in on all the gab, and she is asking Gladys, oh, are there any news? Like, what's going on? She's like, I was looking for Billy. And while she's doing that with her opera glasses, Mrs. Fish spots the Duke talking to the Delanceys and goes and confronts Bertha about it. And she's like, well, he has other friends. We can't just like hoard him while he's here. But this is dangerous for Bertha. She is not happy that this is happening.
I mean, Hector is like, listen, I did some shopping. I, didn't get what I wanted from one bank, so I'm going to go to another bank and see if I can get a better offer. He's shopping around for car loans, for wife loans, basically. Like, what? Couldn't get anything I wanted over here, so let's see what's happening over here with the Delanceys. Props to Hector for making use of his time here in America to be like, well, got turned down here. Let's see what else I can get into.
Yeah, and also like playing his card in front of Bertha, like to let her know that like, I'm not stopping either. You're not stopping. I'm not stopping. So you're going to have to figure something out.
I love Mrs. Fish where they're like, let's go back into the opera. She's like, I don't come here for the show. I don't come for the opera. I come here to wear jewels and gossip, basically. Like, it's just an excuse for me to like show off and like get gabby with people. It's like, Mrs. Fish never changed. I
love her. I love her so much. George comes home and he's been working late, and Bertha is pretty mad. And George is also mad because he's like, look, I am trying to change the world here. I don't know if you understand. Mm-hmm. And Bertha's like, I am too. Like, we are trying to do the same things. What you're trying to do and what I'm trying to do are linked. And I can't believe you didn't show up at the opera because I built that place and you didn't show up. I needed you to be there. And George is like really tired, so much to the fact that she like gives him the eyes, like the eyes. And he's like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Bye.
I love Bertha, man. Bertha's like, I'm going to get you to up your offer and agree one way or the other. Come here, big boy. He's like, nah, babe, I got a headache. He's like, oh, I got a headache tonight, babe. Can't do it. I love that. Yeah. Like, like Bertha's like, he was talking to the Delanceys, and George's like, the Delanceys? That Delancey guy is lucky that I saved the bank, so he would be ass out right now. He would be literally sweeping our steps. He owes us. I was like, oh, okay.
And Bertha's like, oh.
Let's see how much George thinks of the Delanceys. And this gives Bertha a bing light bulb moment.
Yeah. Information. She's good with information. Meanwhile, Gladys is like, oh my God, I'm free. Like, this means I can go marry Billy. Like, this is it. It's so, Larry, go talk to Billy for me. And he's like, I don't really know what can happen here, but I'll do it. And so he does it. And then he comes back and he's like, it's not good news. I got to tell you. It's moved on. Looks like mom's gotten to his mom. So it's kind of like closed. So Gladys is still trapped in this situation.
Yeah, Billy is still a yellow bellied, little coward. And I mean, I guess it goes to show because Gladys will say something about like, hey, Gladys is a kid. She doesn't know what love is. She doesn't know what anything is. This kind of proves her point a little bit because like if Billy really was the one for you, he would have like stood up for you any type of way, but he's so ready to bounce on you. Maybe this just wasn't it anyway, because Gladys is like devastated by this news. She's like, oh my god, I loved Billy. Why does he just want to get move on? I'm free now, and now that I'm free, he still doesn't want to do it because probably he's just been scared shitless of Bertha at this point. It's just like, well, Gladys, maybe this wasn't the one for you.
Well, and in the environment that she's in, were they alone together for a prolonged period of time? I guess that's what love is. You know what I mean? There's not a real good sense for love in this society at this time in general.
True.
But also, yeah, and I don't even think she's motivated. I don't even think she really loves him. I just think she want to get back at her mom. And
and she feels immense pressure because Bertha's trying. It's like a race to see who she can get married to before Bertha hooks her up with the Duke. She's like, let me get married to Billy. So now there's no choice but to let me stay married to Billy because I'll be married then, and I can't be divorced because then I'll be an outcast of society if I'm divorced. So she feels like this immense pressure. If it was up to her, she probably would have liked to court Billy for a while, and then maybe get married. But now she feels this pressure because Bertha's trying to marry her off to the Duke. She's trying to get married off to Billy before mom can marry her off to the Duke. So I sense there's a little bit of that too. And it's just the pressure of the time.
Yeah.
Like it's just when you're Gladys's age, that's when you start
shopping.
The marriage courting process. Yeah.
Yeah. Bertha is not going to let this little setback of Hector leaving deter her because she uses the information that George gave her and calls Mr. Delancey under the guise of her husband to come on over and have a conversation.
She catfished this man before catfishing was a thing.
She did.
She sent him a text like, "Hey, bro, you want to come talk? You want to come talk finance?" And Delancey's like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it. I'm down. I'm coming right on over." He gets there. It's like, "Hey, is George here?" It's like George says he's not available right now, but George will come out and meet you in a minute. Have you watched the show Catfish?
No, I have not.
Oh my god, Marissa, Catfish is the best. Catfish is so juicy and funny and ridiculous. It's like, hey, I want to meet this person. It's like, okay, you've been corresponding a lot with this person for a long time. Seems to be like a lot of things are saying that this person is not the person they say they are. And they got the person like, you know what? I don't even care. I love them so much. We've been talking so much that I don't even care if it's not who they say they are. And then it's not who they say they are. And they're like, oh, never mind. I didn't know it was going to be this. So Bertha proto catfished Mr. Delancey before catfishing was a thing. Like, call him over here on false pretenses, and then psych, it's me, Bertha.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, it was me, and she's also like, the balls on this woman, like really, because she's just, well, I know you're trying to, get your daughter married to the Duke, but there's a lot of money here and your financial stuff. And he's like, what do you know? Like, give me the facts and figures. Like, tell me what you know about me. And she's like, well, that's what I heard. I heard you had money issues.
He said that Mr. Delancey said, girl, get about my wallet. Get out of my bank statements. You don't know nothing about me, okay? Yes, I had a little issue with the banky bank, but I got my other side hustles going on. I'm good, girl. And also, Bertha, you don't think the Duke did his research? If the Duke is sniffing around the Delanceys, he knows there's money there. The Duke is like a money, hound. He's like, yeah. I smell money. I smell riches. Let me go over here to the Delanceys. Yeah. So I think she should have taken the cue of like the Duke is just sniffing around the Delanceys. There's money there, Bertha. So
yeah,
don't worry. But he's like, Mr. Lance is like, I don't know what you heard about me, but I got it too. You ain't the only one around here with new money.
It's called like
I got enough new money.
A diverse portfolio. He's like, I got money here. I got money here. I got money over there.
I'm not putting all my hopes and dreams on a railroad like some people around here. I got multiple things I'm into. Okay, so you can chill with that noise. Bertha.
For real. And he also is like, look, I'm going to let my daughter decide who to marry. Isn't that like what we should be doing? But at the same time, like, I don't want my daughter to move across the country or across the world, across the globe. I want to watch my kids. So this kind of gets Bertha to be like, okay.
He's like, he first of all, he's like, I want Martha to decide who she wants to marry, and I want to see my grandkids. Why would I want them to move to England? Like, where I couldn't see my grandkids? Bertha's like,
She's
sucker.
like, I can't get my kid
grandkids
on a boat fast enough. Let me ship her away.
Who cares about grandkids when there's money to be had and status? Okay, there's status on the line here, Delancey. Who cares about your little grandkids and their status? Bertha, I think the storyline of Bertha is going to be a little polarizing with some of the fandom, because it's really dehumanizing her a little bit. Like, all she cares about right now is status. And it's one thing when we had the Opera War last season, where she cared about status, but she wasn't really putting her kids in harm's way to do that until the very end of the season, last season. But here it's like, it's really like kind of dehumanizing to be like, I don't care about no grandkids, F grandkids. I'm trying to get my daughter to be the wife of a duke.
Yeah, it's like dance moms, theater moms, like not all the moms, but just like parents in that situation of, making sure that their kid is in the best position, because then that automatically means that they'll get into the top school and they'll go to the top thing and do all this stuff. I think Bertha has a really good understanding of what it's like to be a woman, especially a woman that's coming from new money as opposed from a woman that's coming from old money. So it's a little bit of a different game than people have to play, but she has yet to really show. Like, she's showing love in a very transactional and a very, I'm setting you up for your future type of good, when Gladys really just needs someone to hold her hand through this and be there with her and kind of explain. Because right now Gladys is like, this isn't for me, you're doing this for you. And Bertha hasn't taken the time to say, let me tell you why I'm doing this for you. Let me tell you why this is. Share the story of how hard it was for her. We've only heard it from other people, like what were your ancestors doing and the potatoes and all this stuff. But like, she could have a little one-on-one with Gladys and be like, hey, I know this is big. I know this is a lot. I know you probably hate me right now, but let me tell you why I'm doing this for you, because these are your options. And also, I want you to do something with your life. And this is the way to do it in this time.
Yeah, the delivery
not great,
leaves a lot to be desired. But I also kind of think, either she said to Gladys like, okay, I don't care. Like, you still try to get married, this guy I don't like.
Right, yeah. Well, and because she's also like, I'm in love with Billy. Like, she's still on that front. And I think there's a point that understands that. She's like, she doesn't understand. Yeah. She doesn't speak my language. So I'm just going to keep going.
Well, Bertha's things like, she's a child. She doesn't know what's good for her. It's like, as a parent, you definitely feel those things where you're like trying to get your kids into like extracurriculars that they don't want to be in, and be like, but it's good for college applications. It's good for this. It's good for that. You try to convince them of these things. So it's kind of like that, but it's a much bigger stakes. Yes. Now it's like, we're going to get you married off to someone else, and you go across the world to a different country than ours. So the stakes are a little bigger, but I can kind of relate on a parent level of being like, even if you don't understand that's what I'm doing this for the betterment of you.
Yeah, well, women didn't have very many options. They couldn't go to university, build businesses. The first time a woman could get a credit card in the United States was only 48 years ago. So in terms of social mobility for women, it's been a long time where we didn't have a lot. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. I hope they have I hope she just doesn't like ship her off on the boat and say, okay, bye. Like, I hope there's a moment before that for both of them.
Some emotion I think is well desired out of Bertha. We're not really seeing that from her. We're seeing more of like the kind of business, like she even compares it to business with George. Like, society and business go hand in hand. This is basically a business deal for Bertha, and I just wish we would see some of that maternal instinct in Bertha when thinking about Gladys. She's kind of very singularly focused right now,
because we're seeing it from George. Like, he is there, he's got his business hat on, but he's also like looking at his daughter and thinking about what's best for her for what she wants, not for what I want for her. Speaking of George, Clay comes back and he's like, yo, we need more money to get the land for the railroads. And George, this is dangerous, man. He's like, the deal didn't go through, so just use the money from the dowry. And Clay's like, excuse me, what? And this is like a no negotiation here. George tells Clay, you have your orders, go execute them.
In every episode of this season, George has been warned. You are biting off more than you can
it's gonna
chew.
fall.
This is not gonna go well.
Yeah.
This is gonna go super spectacularly bad. And I think by the end of the season, George is gonna find himself in a really, really tough spot financially because he's now promised the dowry money, and spoiler alert, by the end of this episode, the dowry money is gone again. So he's running out of resources. I don't know what he thinks he's gonna do.
It's going to change the world. Hector comes back after all of this because he found out about the talk with the Delancres, and also his lawyer said he should reconsider. And basically, this was horrible, also on Bertha's part, in my opinion, because he's like, "This would get the money, and that would be hers, and I can't deal with that. And Bertha's brought you together. What's hers is yours, and yours is hers. So, yeah, okay, the check's gonna be made out to Gladys, but you could basically steal it from my daughter. It's fine. No, thank you.
Yeah, just take it from her. She can't do anything. Just take it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine." Bertha's using some really dirty tactics here. But who cares? She's just a girl. Take it.
Yeah, I did not like it. Not a big fan. It's the night of the portrait revealing, and George comes home before that, and again is asking Bertha, I don't understand where you're coming from. We were a love match. What is the problem here? And she's like, yeah, but we were also well suited. So we play off each other. We make opportunity with each other. We help each other in life. And she's and Billy, not well suited. Gladys and the Duke, well suited. And George is like, Gladys knows her own mind. You're thinking my daughter does not know what she wants. And this is where Bertha's like, this will give her a chance to use her mind. Think outside of this transaction, basically. Think about the opportunities this can, set her up for.
Yeah, I think that line right there is supposed to let us know Bertha is thinking of Gladys in a way. It's still less of the maternal instinct and more of this will help us and the family and everybody. This will be great, right? Because when she says well suited, it's well, we have the money, he has the status, so we can put those things together and it'd be great. What does Billy give us? Billy gives us nothing. Billy is a zero sum in society, in money. He gives us nothing. At least we get something out of this Duke thing.
Family signed the Declaration of Independence, okay? And also Campbell, he could be the Campbell Soup people. I don't know. I didn't do any research. But, yeah, I mean, and this is also the next step up in society for Bertha. You can't deny the fact that this is something that would be, she's conquered the opera. She's Mrs. Astor's coming over, she doesn't have to worry about that anymore. So there's nowhere else. She's at the ceiling that is provided for her by society because she can't go start a business. She can't go do all this stuff. She has to either basically be a philanthropist, a nurse, or a teacher like Marion across the street. Bertha's never going to do that. That's not something that she's going to do.
She just want to touch dirty, sick, poor people. That's not something she's going to do.
No, yeah.
It's a very complex situation because you don't know the percentage of this is what Bertha is. She's doing this because Bertha wants to be more in society, or she's actually doing this for the betterment of Gladys in her mind. We don't really know too much about what the divide there is of how much is this for you and how much of this is you saying this for Gladys. I think when she says, "Oh, I'm doing this for Gladys," it's but also it wouldn't hurt to be the mother of the Duchess. It wouldn't be too bad either.
Win, it's everybody wins.
Yeah.
So the kids come down for dinner, and Mom and Dad Russell are just laughing it up with Hector, and they're like, we're celebrating his return. And Gladys is like, what? Excuse me? She's taken aback. She can't even have a response. She's just kind of frozen. So Bertha and George pull her aside, and she's crying, obviously, as I would be too, because I'm just I have been presented to a man before, and it is one of the most dehumanizing experiences in my life.
You have been presented this is Marissa.
Yeah.
She would make a fantastic wife.
Yes, to a man who was 20 years older than me at the time. And so it's just so it's you don't know the person. I never I never did. I was I'm out. Bye. We gotta go. But
I mean, your hand wasn't promised. It was just like, hey, maybe
no,
you
my
should
hand
like
was not
go on a
promised.
date.
But I mean, I've been in a position where I've been like presented as an option, and not like on like, hey, we should like, now let's set you two up, let's do a thing. Hi, I would like to present my granddaughter for consideration for your thing. Okay, like that was
Oh my
the
god.
situation.
Yeah.
And
That's terrible. That's
yeah.
cringy.
So when Gladys is sitting here crying, I'm like, yeah, I get that. I get that. Because I had to run out of the house, and I was like, I can't. And that was just for that level of presenting.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my god.
and Bertha's like, think about it, like it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, fantastic. I know. And George is okay. Let me like actually talk to you like a human. Just give this man a chance. If you want to shut your mom up, basically, you just have man a chance. And so Hector and Gladys go meet. It's super awkward. But Hector's like, yeah, this is kind of weird, right? And Gladys is like, yeah, it is.
I think a humanizing of Hector was well overdue at this point.
Yes.
And we finally got it. He's just like, yeah, I realize what's going on here. Like, I know you don't want to marry me, but like, it's kind of something that we got to do. Like, it's kind of something that's going to be beneficial for all of us here. So like, get with the program. I will, like he says to her, like, I will make sure you're happy. Like, it's almost like it is like an arranged marriage. Basically. It's exactly an arranged. Like, I know we don't know each other, but like, let's make the best of it. We can be cool. We can be happy. Like, what do you say? What do you say? So I do think they strike a little bit of a rapport. And I think we've seen so much terribleness of the Duke. Getting him being a little more like, engaging here is a better thing for his character than not.
Yeah, and I think at one point Gladys is like, I know you just want me to like save your homes. Like you just need the money. And he's like, I hope at one point you can kind of see why I'm trying to do this. Like maybe you'll have a different view once we get over. We can come back to America whenever. And so that kind of settles her, gets her a little bit more grounded in the situation. And then they just walk out and they're like, we are engaged. And that's it. Hug, cry. And George, like, this is when George is like really looking at Gladys, like, okay, this is real now. And she starts playing with her choker. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the feeling of being trapped. And she's there. So they go outside. Everyone's over for the portrait unveiling, and Mr. Sargent unveils it with some sort of like, every time I'm asked to paint a woman, it's talking about her future or whatever. Whatever. Here's this picture.
From what you told me about Mr. Sargent's history, I almost like wanted something like scandalous to be happening, like he unveils the portrait and Gladys is like, she's like, it's like turning around twerking or something. Like, one of those shirts you get at like a theme park with like Looney Tunes and gangster wear, like the like baggy pants and baggy shirts. I almost thought it was gonna be something like that. I was like, oh no, it's just a regular old portrait. Great. Like, I thought we were gonna get something scandalous, but no, she's being demure like normal.
It's a great portrait. It's freaking huge. It's a statement. Yep. He did a good job. So everyone's clapping, and then George comes out and I was surprised. I mean, I guess it's his role as the father of the person or whatever, but comes out as like, if this wasn't enough, my daughter's engaged to the Duke, and everyone's oh my gosh, clap. Then we get like at least a minute, I want to say, of like clapping and looking, and Gladys is like playing with her choker, and then at the end of it all, like the choker falls apart. So definitely some face acting happening. George is like super confused. Bertha's like, oh my God, I'm going to make it the wedding of the century. Like, this is so fantastic. I can't wait. And Larian is like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah, I mean, Marion's like, oh crap, another step closer to attention being turned to me.
Yeah. So that is what's going on the Russell side of the street. Over on the Forte Van Ryan side of the street, Agnes is feeling erased from society because of many reasons. One, she did not get listed in the newspaper as a donor to the Christian Women's Society. And like, I get that. Like, that's a huge blow. But I also, while Ada is sitting there, she's like, I didn't get listed when you donated stuff. And also, I went to parties that you were invited to.
And it's like, that don't matter. Nobody was checking for you. Okay. People were checking for me and I'm not checking for me. That's the problem. Like you were fine being my hanger on, but I ain't nobody's hanger on. I'm not a part of an entourage. I am the star. I am the moment. And now I'm not the moment. And that is pissing me off. And Ada is like insulted, rightly so, because it's like, so wrong with being a hanger on. I've been a hanger on of you for years, and now you're saying this is some sort of insult. That used to be me, girl. What you talking about?
Well, in that she's like, and I gave this money to continue our family's tradition. I could have given it to the temperance movement. This is something that's important to you, so I continue to do it. And this is when Gladys go ahead.
Ada's like, those Christians drink wine, okay, for communion. Okay, I'm not for that. I'm not down with that. But I decided to keep giving them money because you wanted me to give them money. Yeah.
This Ada delivers like Christine Baranski with this line. She's like, because they also bring up the fact that Aurora, like, this isn't the worst thing that could happen to you. Like, you could have a situation like Aurora, and Agnes, like, Aurora was still in the paper. Like, she's still here. It is like, okay, but give it time. She's like, maybe I'll go find my place in Newport and spend my days with society's cast-offs and women of ill repute. Dramatic pause. At least they'll have wine. It was so good. It was so good.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's so good.
And like the eye rolls from Ada during this whole thing also was just like, oh my God, you're being so dramatic. Speaking of being dramatic, there's a tea later on in the episode where Ada's like, imagine that. Mixed religions and races working together. Oh my gosh. Like, Ada, it still hasn't happened. Like, I wish we got there, but we're not there. And of course, Agnes is not happy with Marion's job teaching English to mixed religions and people of mixed religions and races. Then she's like, yeah, like, people just need a little push. And I think Agnes is freaking out because she's like, does John have push? Like, is John gonna leave me? Can John still be my footman?
Agnes is like, what's next? Is John Jack going to get a mansion? Is everyone going to have money but me? What else could happen? What else could be? Am I going to be working for John Jack pretty soon? Huh? You're going to tell me that's going to happen?
Yeah, it's so, yeah. And then Oscar comes in on like cloud 9. He's like, I got 2 clients. And Agnes is like, I hope they know what they're in for. Like,
yeah. He's like, you know who got it for me? My boyfriend. Yeah. My boyfriend got me some clients.
Yeah. And, they asked JJ, they asked Jack John, do you think that success and money, like, can bring you happiness? And he's so earnest in his answer. He's like, I'd like to find out. Like,
That's been the line. That's been a line in all of the promos, and I'm happy we finally got it. It's like, because every commercial I've ever seen for this season of the Gilded Age, it's like, I'm not sure, ma'am, but I'd love to find out. It's like, so we finally got it. It was like, yes, finally got it. And I mean, listen, JJ is like, listen, y'all been rich for a long time. Yeah. Y'all may be bored of it. Y'all may be like take it for granted, but I'm looking to get some of that. I'm looking to get on the fun. Like, I've never been it, so I want to feel the way it feels to be. Because I mean, Agnes could be like, oh yeah, sure, you could be rich, or you could be happy. Like, take it from someone who's not rich. I would like to know. I would like to test out that theory that money can't buy you happiness. Yeah. I want to find out. Let me F around and find out, and then I'll come back and report my findings. But I'm not just going to take your word for it that money doesn't buy happiness, because money could buy me some happiness right now. Let me tell you.
Was Agnes really happy when she had all the money? She was still complaining. She was, you know what I mean? Like, there. So the complaining continues at luncheon, where Agnes is like, I don't have any mail. I'm off the earth. Nobody knows I exist anymore. And Ada starts like really getting in on the pledge here. She asks Bannister, like, how many people signed the pledge? And he's like, what? And who was it? Miss Armstrong? Agnes can't handle it.
No. It's like, pledge? No, we're out of pledge. We got to go to the store and buy some pledge.
That's all we got, but pledge? No.
That's what you mean? Pledge? No? Oh, that pledge. Yeah. No. Just no. No one signed it. But that old Biddy Armstrong.
And Agnes cannot handle it. She questions her, like, why didn't you sign it? And she's like, didn't you notice that I never drank? She's like, I noticed you're no fun. All this stuff.
And listen, Aurora came here last episode and told all of y'all, Ada's in charge now. Okay, don't listen to Agnes. Ada's in charge. Agnes, like we said last episode, still didn't get the memo. Still doesn't care. She's like, nah. These are my people. These are your people. I hired all these MFers. They ain't your people. Ada's like, no. Actually, literally,
I write the checks.
They're my people.
Yeah.
I sign their checks. Like I pay them, so they should be doing what I say. Like Agnes. Like when Agnes here, y'all did what Agnes said, and now y'all doing what I say. Rightfully, if it was Agnes, Agnes would have told them all to sign the pledge. Ada nicely asked them if they wanted to sign the pledge.
Yeah, and that gets like Agnes to be like, okay, Mrs. Armstrong, you can leave, because obviously I have been reminded of my place in my own home, if I can even call it that anymore. Mm-hmm. And this is when Ada gets up from the table and is just like, why doesn't anyone listen to me? Basically, like, why can't I be the head of this household? And she's rightfully frustrated in that instance. It's time for JJ and Larry to go on their clock tour of New York. And I loved the scenes we got here. We got him getting ready and the unveiling of his suit to everyone, and talking about like imposter syndrome, and Bannister like giving him his little pep talk. I thought it was cute.
He kind of looked like a younger version of Michael Caine in the Muppet Christmas Carol. Like that suit he had on. I was like, this guy is nice little fancy suit. It's like, oh, it's so cute, isn't it?
Yeah. And we learned that they had 4 meetings scheduled, and 3 of them gave them a lot of like, we'll think about it. And we do get to meetings come to fruition. And it goes just as we thought it was. Larry's going to get asked a question he doesn't know the answer to. But I really like the initiative that JJ took here. So great. Not only did he explain it, but he's like, this is like classic American sales, right? Like, try it. I brought 2 of these clocks.
We've got samples. Yeah. We got samples for y'all to try. And the way Larry was like, I almost thought Larry was going to be like, hey, don't get too big for your britches, JJ. Okay, I'm running the meeting. But I think Larry was actually really impressed, because like he didn't know JJ had these samples he's going to give out. Like, hey, take 2. See if it works, and call us in the morning.
Yeah.
I do think Larry was really impressed by his like initiative.
I think so too. And also the fact that like he was so confident when he did it, and the gentlemen who were looking at the clock were like, well, we could just like take it apart and just like remake it, because I got a patent. So like you could try, but
yeah, I love JJ finding his swag, finding his like his voice and his confidence, because you know the JJ of a couple episodes ago probably wouldn't have said anything. He just would have been like, sat there and didn't do anything. Maybe would have said something about the technicality of the clock, but then when the investors push back, like he pushes back at him like, bro, we got a patent, so you can F around and try it if you want to, but we are protected legally. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
JJ, look at you.
And this still isn't enough for them though. They're like, we're gonna need some time. We're gonna have to think about it. It's like too new for people. Yeah. And he goes back home and he's a little depressed, and Mrs. Armstrong stops by, which was surprising. I was surprising that this was a conversation that was had, but she's like, look, you got in the door. That's huge. And these are important businessmen, and they are going to take their time and, you know, not just give you money for the heck of it. And at the end of it, JJ is like, thanks. You gave me like a glimmer of hope. Like, I didn't think about it that way. And she's like, I didn't mean to do that, but okay.
I like that the evil wench accidentally stumbled upon some humanity in her dealings. She was like, "Oh damn, was that actually kind of nice for a second? Oh, that is not like me."
Yeah,
you fix that.
Yeah, Ada is finally grieving Luke's death in this episode as well. So like I like at the beginning of this whole introduction to the temperance movement, she's like, "This is for Luke's memory," but she's like really bothered that nobody has signed this pledge, and also the fact that like Agnes is still barking orders. So she goes downstairs and asks Mrs. Bauer, like, if Agnes were to ask you, would you sign it? It's not that person.
Like, well, I mean, it's like, you know, I like she kind of hems and haws,
but she's also like, don't take it personally. Like, you did get us talking, us thinking, and like that's what Luke would have wanted. I don't know, it's really hard without him. And she starts breaking down, and this is like the first time. Yes, I know they only knew each other for like 2 weeks, but I guess they like went on that honeymoon or whatever, and they danced to the records, and they had memories, and there was love between them, and so she's feeling it. And Mrs. Bauer at the end of it goes, if you could speak to him one more time, would you? And I know someone who could help. And I'm like, oh my God, is Ada going to go to a psychic? Because this is so taboo. This is so taboo. I was like, I love it so much.
are we about to F around and go to a medium next episode? I was like, wow, this is taking quite a turn. Miss Barr was like, I gotta find some way to take her mind off this temperance shit because I have not given up my beer. That's not something I'll be doing. I will not give up my after work beer. I will do whatever it takes to not give up my after work beer. I almost thought Ada was using this as kind of like a tool to get people to sign the pledge, like the sympathy vote for the pledge, because she can't be Agnes and order people around. It's just not within her. She's like Marissa in that way. She just cannot be like forceful. Be like, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do it now, like Agnes would do.
Things
so
have
I thought maybe
get to a certain point for me to do that, but yeah.
I thought maybe Agnes, Ada was going to try and take a different tack. Like, don't you feel so sorry for me that you want to sign the temperance pledge now? It's like, I thought that was her goal here. But no, we're about to go to a freaking medium next episode. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be so fun.
I'm so excited because I know who's going to play the medium, and it's Andrea Martin from My Big Fat Greek Wedding and like Second City. Like, she's a big Chicago person, but also she's big in theater and she's hilarious. So I'm so looking forward to seeing the shenanigans that happen next episode. And also like how this changes, like if this changes Ada, and like if she's like, maybe I don't believe in God. Oh my God, I was married to a reverend. Like what, like not saying that like mediums, you can't believe in God and go see a medium, like everything is connected and can, but if it changes her worldview a little bit, I'm kind of interested. All right, last but certainly not least, let's talk about what's going on with Peggy, my Pegster. She's up and out in Newport, and like for all of 2 seconds. It does not take very long for Dr. Kirkland to be like, oh, you in town? I'd love to call on you. So great. And
hey girl, you up? You up? A booty letter, if you will.
Yeah.
Going over, girl.
And Dorothea, her mom, and her aunt are just like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Like, he's mighty smitten with you. And he's not smitten. Like, he's just here. But I would say he is quite smitten.
Oh yeah, of course. Her family's like, girl, a doctor? You better write him back.
It was so great. I loved the like true family reaction there. It wasn't guarded in any way, shape, or form. It was just like, oh, you gotta write him back. Go do it. And I love that Peggy's like, I will do it. I know how to write. I'm gonna leave now. Bye. So her and the doc go for a walk on the cliffs. It's not really a cliff, on the like by the ocean, but there's a lot of rocks. Yeah. And he's like telling her all of the stuff about being a doctor, and he's like, well, how long are you gonna be here? She's like, well, my doctor told me to come and get to convalesce by the sea. It's like, oh, I know him, and I would say you are healed. I was like, oh my gosh.
Gotta love that flirty banter.
Gosh, it's eating
up. The only thing left as part of your treatment is to lay hands on you, if you know what I mean, Peggy. If you know what I'm saying. Oh. And that was almost the level of what this was getting to. It's like, oh my, like y'all are really flirtmancing here. I like it. I like it.
I'm just like, oh yeah, my brother's having a party. Just bring everybody over, and just my dad's coming in town. Yeah, bring him too. It'll be great. It'll be fine.
What could go wrong with that?
It's fine. We're all one big happy family. When she gets home, like everybody wants to report. She's like, she ignores them at the beginning, and her aunt. I love this line when her aunt's like, well, if you ask me, he's a good match, and she's up the stairs. Turns over the shoulder and says, I didn't ask. Like I was like, yeah, Peggy.
I mean, listen, we see the differences, right? In Peggy's situation and Gladys' situation. Peggy ain't gonna take no shit like Gladys would take some. Gladys is getting pawned off of somebody. Peggy would not be that. But Peggy's like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like Peggy's like, I do not care about someone's pedigree. I take the real person into account. She's allowed to do that. Gladys is not even allowed to do that at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and she also has the security of having a job, a skill that she can like lean back on. Like she doesn't need,
she's independent.
She doesn't need a man as much as Gladys does, unfortunately. So they go to this party at the Kirklands. Oh boy.
Things get awkward in a hurry.
We are introduced to Mr. and Mrs. Kirkland, played by Felicia Rashad and Brian Stokes Mitchell. Felicia Rashad, legend. Brian Stokes Mitchell, also
first
legend.
Of all, Listen, my 90s sitcom brain kicked in immediately. I was like, okay, obviously we have Mrs. Huxtable over here, a black icon in society, television,
movies,
whatever you want to call it.
arts,
I mean, obviously
dance.
people have feelings about the Cosby of it all, but she is Mrs. Huxtable forever and always. And then over on the other side, you have from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Trevor, Hillary Banks's fiance, who tragically died in I think it was bungee jumping accident on that show. So my 90s sitcom brain hit me immediately. I was like, oh my God, this is so hilarious. And listen, Felicia Rashad, I think we're used to her being a certain thing, and was not that way in this.
This Is Us also? I thought she played like Beth's mom or something like that. But she shows up these days and she plays she usually plays a mom. Right. She usually, I remember it. Yeah, she was
kind of the same way in This Is Us. Yeah. A little snooty.
Yeah, a little bit. And Brian Stokes Mitchell has I think they originated the roles in Ragtime with Audra. So Audra, my friend Audra. Yeah, and he's big in theater. So these are two heavy hitters that are on our screens here. And oh boy, okay, so it's the usual well, my son went to Harvard and instead he could have gone to Harvard, but he went to Brown and all this stuff. And Peggy's parents are just that's so great. That's so wonderful. And then Arthur tries to talk about his business, and Alicia Rashad, Mrs. Kirkland, is oh, is it a family business? Has it been around a long time? And Arthur's kind of just had to start it when I was emancipated, and I apprenticed and I did it on my own. I meant it to be a family business, but it's not. And
Peggy had to go be all independent and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
And Arthur's out here talking about hey, I built this thing myself, up on my bootstraps, put myself up on my bootstraps, did it all myself. And Mrs. Kirkland could not care less. It's Mrs. Kirkland and Bertha would be best of buddies because they're both coming from the same cloth. Oh, you mean you don't have status? Your thing isn't around for a long time. What do you mean you've been emancipated? You were a slave? What? So Mrs. Kirkland's kind of really looking down on the Scotts here, and it's really, really awkward and really terrible.
Yeah, and she goes later, she tells her kids don't go outside or use an umbrella because you don't want to get any sun. So this I don't like this, but I also like this because it's showing that cultural groups are not a monolith, right? There is still separation in these groups. In the Latino community, colorism is also a thing. I'm a white passing Mexican. I do not belong as well as someone who is darker than me. And there is privilege with that. I will say that there is privilege with that. But that's what's happening here. She looks at Arthur and she sees a dark man. And this is not the level of status that she wants her son to be associated with. Even though it was him who gave her son opportunities, even though it was him, Arthur, that inspired her son to be a doctor in the first place. I don't know if she knows any of that, but she wants nothing to do with Arthur in this situation. And they can feel it. The Scotts are
ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, she still looks down on him, even though he is this person that has, built himself up from nothing. She doesn't care about that. It's all about who you know and who you are, what your lineage is. And, it just goes to show that colorism has been a long-standing principle for centuries at this point. So it's it's nothing new. It's still something we deal with today, as you mentioned. I myself have dealt with that as a light-skinned black man in a land of darker-skinned black people. It's something that I dealt with, especially in school when I was younger. So it's not something that's new to anybody, and it is interesting to show because the further back in time you go, the more you would think of okay, black people, they were this one thing they were discriminated against, but no, there's discrimination inside of that culture society as well. It's in any culture society, most cultural societies, there is that thing to protect.
And it shows the power of whiteness. Because I took an American slavery class when I was a history major in college, whatever. But people were sold at different rates based on their the color of their skin.
Yeah.
And also to this day, like you could go to places in India and Asia, and there are whitening creams, and even here, whitening creams for your face so that you can lighten the color of your skin so you can get closer to being white. And so like this is ingrained across the globe. Like the power of whiteness is definitely still alive and well. And I like that we're having this conversation in this show.
Yeah, it's talked about still today in celebrity culture of people lightening their skin to be more appealing to more races. It's
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was black for the first part of it, wasn't at the end because he was whiter. Like, and he had a skin condition, like not white and cultural, but his skin was lighter. And so it's so interesting to me that that is like a purity test for us in this world. Yes. I don't like it. And Arthur's not happy with it either. He leaves, and Dorothy's saying goodbye to him before he leaves. And he's saying, like, she won't change. She's not going to respect me. There's, nothing I can do here. She would prefer to forget that I was ever a slave. Like, she would forget slavery was even a thing. And he's like, that's part of who I am. And this has come up for him a couple of times in this series where he has had to remind people that slavery was something that happened and he was a part of. And it's like, what if our grandchildren end up looking like Peggy and then they won't be part of the family? And like, there's real implications that can happen here.
Listen, I can't help but draw the parallel to the royals, right? Like the same thing happened there. That's the reason why one of the main reasons why Harry and Meghan are not part of that family is because of the way they were treated because they had biracial children. So it's just like it's as we keep pointing out, the parallels don't end. That way of thinking didn't end in the 1800s. It's still alive and well today.
Yeah. I'm like, and there's really no solution in sight. So you have to change. Like we have to change one by one, and we have to when it's happening and have these conversations.
Yeah, I love it. I love that Dorothy tells Arthur, like, oh, Arthur, don't worry about it. Arthur leaves. He goes in the door. It's like, okay, I told Arthur not to worry about it, but I'm worried about it. And I love the conversation that she has with Athena, her cousin or sister. It's like, hey, like, I had the same issue because my family, aka talking Dorothy's family, did not approve of Arthur to begin
AKA
with.
You, sis.
And Athena's like, and Athena's like, yeah, that's true. Listen, I was young. I was following mom's lead. But listen, we all love Arthur now. So it can happen. It could be a thing. And I like that Dorothy is also kind of hesitant to have Peggy go forward. But Peggy, for everything that's been happening, Peggy's like, listen, I can think for myself. Like, I don't judge William on who his parents are. So y'all can fret all you want. You can cut your pearls like Gladys and make them fall apart. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Yeah. And Peggy, I like that Peggy still holds fast to her independence and her, like, I'm going to do whatever the F I want to do. And, and I like that Dorothy and Arthur rightly have concerns about what life could look like for Peggy if she is into this family that the mother obviously thinks lesser of darker skinned people.
Yeah. And I also like that Dorothy reminds Arthur, like, because he's like really rightfully pumped up about, remember last time you tried to like get involved in this? And he's like, yep, okay, bye. Like, I got it.
Yeah, that did not end well. Yeah.
Last thing, for some reason, we still get more information about Chef Boyardee.
What are we doing with Chef Boyardee and Mrs. Bruce? Like, this is like, what are we doing? This is going to turn into something bigger. I feel like last time we podcast about the Gilded Age last season, we were like, this is going to turn into something bigger, right? And it never did. It was like, why are we even paying attention to these two anymore? I don't understand.
Yeah, and I put in my notes, wife is still dead. There's real, mean, but he's feeling, guilty and talking through it with Mrs. Bruce. She sent a ring back, so maybe that's signaling to the future that there could be a wedding with Mrs. Bruce. But again, who knows? It probably will never happen. And there was this conversation, and Mrs. Bruce is like, "I like the sound of your wife." I like the sound of her too. It was the fact of her that gave me trouble, and I was like, "What the frick,
oh boy,
bro?"
Damn, just speaking ill of the dead, my dude. And like he comes into this feeling kind of melancholy about it when we just saw him like last episode, be like, yes, she's freaking dead, fantastic. And she wrote up a whole note. So I guess she had a lingering illness. I guess knew she was about to die and decided to write him a note, send him back his ring. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But they're just not spending enough time on this for me to actually give a crap about this
Yeah,
storyline.
I have no idea where we're going with this or why we're talking about it. So hopefully something will happen, or maybe they were in a contract negotiations and they had to get a certain number of lines in, and so they were like, okay, we'll do this part. But
what they did this with them last season too, of like giving us like drips and drabs of this story, and like you're giving me so little that I don't really care, and it's just annoying to me that we're taking time away from all of our other things to focus on this that I don't care
and
about.
We never really saw the relationship like happen between them. It was just kind of like, would you like to sing the piano? And she's like, oh, I like the music. I mean, I guess that is a relationship for where we are in history, but
I mean, listen, we don't really, it's as much of any relationship.
Yeah, I was show, like,
right?
Yeah,
like I feel like Larian is like the most you've ever like gone through a relationship before, because they're still in the early stages and they're not married yet. I mean, according to the previews for next episode, the wedding of Gladys and the Duke is next episode. I'm like, wow. Unless there's a huge time jump or something, this is like super duper fast.
Well, and also it's the last line I think of the preview is like George saying to Gladys, the choice must be yours. And it's like, oh, we're still like, we're here. We're like, what? How did we get here? What's going on? So yeah, there's lots of stuff happening in the next episode that I am definitely looking forward to. But like I said, I really like that this episode is talking about things like the institution of marriage and its impact on families and how it goes forward. And also talking about colorism in a way that is allowing people to see it, acknowledge it, and be aware of it.
Yeah.
Agnes is Agnes. I was like, there's nothing really going on in the Forte household very much.
Are they going to get Agnes and Ada out of their house? Like, is Agnes ever going to leave the house this season? I think Ada might be leaving next.
Well, she's got to go to the medium
to see the medium.
Yeah.
I was surprised they weren't at the portrait unveiling, unless they were, and I didn't
see them.
Clock it.
Yeah, but Marion was there, of course. But I don't know.
Did Agnes get invited? Did Agnes or Ada get invited to the unveiling?
They should.
Interesting. They should. But yeah, it was an interesting episode. Again, the Gilded Age episodes are always kind of marching along until something is boom happens, like a wedding next episode. So,
and I can't believe it's happening in episode 4.
Will be pretty action packed.
Wait, are there only 8 episodes?
Yeah, there are only 8 episodes.
Okay,
so this is the mid season. Will be the mid season next episode. Yeah, unless other storylines take precedence, I don't know where else we will go. Either they're going to get married or they won't get married.
What do you think? I think they're going to get married.
They will or won't.
Yeah.
I think they will. I have been kind of spoiled on the real life.
Yeah, I was like, don't look it up.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, I think it probably happens unless they veer drastically from real life. But yeah, I think, and I hope Gladys does end up being happy, because I think that's, I want Gladys to be happy, and I want Bertha to realize what she's done here. Like, maybe it's too late, where Gladys has already been married off to the Duke, but I hope she like takes some stock and realizes like, this is kind of effed up for me to do.
Well, and I also think she has to get married because of history, but also because there has to be like stress in the Russell household, and that is something like, if she gets married, the dowry money's gone, George is going to have to figure out what to do with the railroad. They're not going to have money. This is going to be like, and she's got to pay for this wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that there is an opportunity for there to be clashing between Bertha and George that we've seen last season a little bit, and maybe we end the series with them like in a questionable space. Like, they'll never not be together, but there just might be like hey, you should probably tell me the social moves that you're making so I can like not promise money away in my business, and maybe I should tell you what's going on in my business so that you could like not spend it at the opera or wherever. So maybe they need to have a little business meeting every now and then. But I don't know. I can't believe we're almost halfway through.
Yeah, halfway through already. So yeah, that is episode 3. Marissa, do you want to tell the people out there where they can find you and what you're up to?
You can find me here talking about the Gilded Age with you, also talking with you over on the Good Pod, which is our place where we talk about The Good Wife and Elsbeth when it's on, and The Good Fight eventually. So if you're into those type of shows, check us out over there. Also, we did a little stint over on Whirlwind Podcast where we talked about The Bear. If you haven't watched that yet or haven't watched at least season 4, you can catch us over there talking about all of it from start to finish. And then otherwise, also on Whirlwind, I am on Previous Little Liars, where I watch Pretty Little Liars one previously on at a time. Outside of that, you can go to itsmemarissag.com and find out where else I am. Jason, what you got going on these days?
Yeah, you can find me over on the podcast The Perfect Match, where me and Asia Welch have recently started a Patreon, where we're talking about the show Married at First Sight, where we right now on our Patreon we're talking older seasons because we are kind of in the lull between new seasons. So we are talking old seasons over on our Patreon, doing cast interviews, doing rankings, doing a lot of fun stuff, all centered around the show Married at First Sight. So if that's something you're into, go on over there at patreon.com/perfectmatch podcast. Check that out. You can also find me on Recap Kickback talking about the show Ironheart. I did episodes 1 through 3 last week, and this week we'll be doing wrapping it up with episodes 4 through 6 of Ironheart's first and maybe only season. So come check me out in all those places. And until next episode, get rich, stay rich.